Now, KTLA 5 Sports Final, powered by your Southern California Ford dealers.
3-on-2 Kings. Kings 3-on-2. Down the middle, Kopitar right side, and Kopitar scores on the rebound.
Good evening to you. I'm Rebecca Hall. Saturday, April 26th, Kings on the brink of elimination tonight. But who's nervous now? That story just moments away. First, though, the one making headlines across the nation, Donald T. Sterling on the eve of Game 4 between the Clippers and Golden State. Clippers' 81-year-old billionaire owner, whose keen business acumen has never been matched by personal discretion, is in real hot water with the NBA and no doubt with his own team tonight for reportedly making racially insensitive and inflammatory comments. The source for this is TMZ Sports, which has a good but not flawless record of accurate reporting. But in this case, there is an audio tape that sounds unmistakably like Sterling, who can be heard berating a female friend for associating with minorities, including Magic Johnson. You can also hear him tell her not to bring Magic to his Clippers games.
People call you and tell you that I have black people on my Instagram, and it bothers you.
Yeah, it bothers me a lot that you want to broadcast that you're associating with black people.
Saw someone I admire. I admire Magic Johnson.
Okay, good.
I'm sorry.
I have nothing more to say.
And I took a picture with someone I admire.
Good.
And he happens to be black, and I'm sorry.
I think it's nice that you admire him. I know him well, and he should be admired. And I'm just saying that it's too bad you can't admire him privately and during your entire life, your whole life admire him. Bring him here, feed him, him. I don't care. You can do anything. But don't put him on this event for the world has to see, so they have to call me. And don't bring him into my games, okay?
Magic Johnson responding swiftly, sending out 2 tweets in which he minced no words. I feel sorry for my friends, Coach Doc Rivers and Chris Paul, that they have to work for a man that feels that way about African Americans. Magic also tweeting Donald Sterling's comments about African Americans are a black eye for the NBA. And Sterling's emerging star center, DeAndre Jordan, sent out this via Instagram. Take a look. It's just a black image, no caption, saying nothing yet saying everything. DeAndre getting his point across discreetly but forcefully just the same. Now, Sterling is one of LA's biggest landlords and has been sued for not renting to minorities. Tonight, the NBA calls Sterling's purported taped remarks disturbing and offensive. Here now, reaction from Coach Doc Rivers.
I don't know if I'm surprised or not. I didn't like the comments, obviously. I'm going to tell you now, I'm speaking on behalf of the team, so the players are not going to deal with this issue. It upsets all of us. You know, there's not one guy that's happy with this situation. This is a situation where we're trying to go after something very important for us, something that we've all dreamed about all our childhoods. And, you know, Donald or anyone else had nothing to do with that dream, and we're not going to let anything get in the way of those dreams.
Earlier tonight, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver very carefully and lawyerly in his comments, but he did say Sterling has agreed not to attend Game 4 in Oakland. He probably wasn't going anyway, and Silver claims the league will examine disciplinary measures. And joining us now here in studio, KTLA Steve Hartman, who has no problem telling it like it is. So let's break this down. I'm wondering, realistically, can the NBA do anything to Sterling?
Well, I don't think so right now. I mean, obviously, as you mentioned, Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, is a lawyer, so he understands the legal ramifications. He couldn't say anything today, flat out could not say anything specifically about any recourse they had for Donald Sterling. They have to examine, first of all, what Sterling's people are saying is that you can't even prove that that's Sterling's voice. You get a hint of what's going on here. So, you know, this is going to be a big battle between lawyers right now as far if this continues on like this. But it's interesting what Doc Rivers saying. If there is a coach that can handle this situation, it's Doc Rivers.
Now, there have been other examples of owners that have been pushed out by their respective leagues. I mean, Major League Baseball is the big example. Cincinnati Reds, the Dodgers, and Frank McCourt. Can the NBA do anything along those lines?
I don't know if Frank McCourt was forced out. He sold for $2 billion.
Well,
I think Sterling would take that deal for the Clippers right now. But here's the thing. Now, when we talk about Marge Schott's situation with the Cincinnati Reds, she made public statements. These were not public statements. These were private statements. This was a private conversation that was illegally taped and then illegally distributed by this young lady. Now, what's her motivation? We heard all kinds of reports about a suit being filed by Sterling's wife against her and everything else. So that's one thing that you have to consider right now. But still, from a PR standpoint, Donald Sterling's had a lot of problems over the years. One, you mentioned about renting out to minorities. That certainly was a big case. He was later found not liable on that, but, that could be lawyer speak. But just the PR problem of carrying a owner, so to speak, through all of this, it's got to weigh on the organization, because the questions will not stop until some action is actually taken against Donald Sterling.
And Doc Rivers saying today that this is a distraction. They're in the middle of the playoffs. The Clippers themselves as a team are disgusted by this. How do they move forward?
They have to just focus on basketball. That's all they have to do right now. Obviously, they're in a tough series of Golden State. It looks like every series in this Western Conference is going to go down to like a 7th game. It's that competitive in the Western Conference. But, I mean, you can almost project forward right now. All right, let's say the Clippers continue on. The questions are not going to stop about Donald Sterling. Can you imagine if Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, is handing that championship trophy to Donald Sterling?
No.
I mean, it's something that could happen, but I honestly believe right now the league understands. And, again, Silver is a disciple of David Stern. They're both attorneys, and they know right now they got no legal recourse. They're going to go over this because I guarantee you the Sterling attorneys are gathering right now to find a way in which they can save Donald Sterling.
Those guys are always busy. All right,
Yeah.
Steve Hartman, thank you very much. And the oddest irony you can imagine, the LA chapter of the NAACP was set to give Sterling the group's Lifetime Achievement Award at a black tie dinner on May 15th. The organization says it is now reassessing its options. All right, now to something a little more pleasant. Clipper actual basketball games. Short term, they now lead